Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Good day to you anywhere you are listening. I am Yemi Olaleye, market analyst at FX Pro, and I welcome you to another weekly edition of our weekly market outlook. And let's see what opportunities we have in the market for this week. If you're just joining or you're just seeing this for the very first time, please kindly like this video, share with your friends and relatives. All right, starting with the fundamental outlook, we look straight into the forexfactory.com and we hit that straight. From the 7th of April till 11th of April, we need to see what the market will give as opportunity and what we should do as traders. On the Monday and the Tuesday of the week, it's quite silent because there is no single high impact news coming up for those 2 days. On the 9th of April, Wednesday, 3 a.m. Nigerian time, NZD is coming up with the official cash rate, and the tentative news for JPY is also coming up. 7 p.m. Nigerian time for the US dollar coming up on FOMC meeting. And of course, on Thursday, we have high impact news on AUD and US dollar. The AUD is coming up 11 a.m. Nigerian time, and 1:30 p.m. Nigerian time, the core CPI is coming up for the United States dollar. And this is one of the most anticipated high impact news for this week, which I'm also looking into. On Friday, which is the last trading day of the week, we have 7 a.m. Nigerian time for Great Britain pounds coming up with the GDP monthly by monthly report. And 1:30 p.m. Nigerian time, the core PPI for monthly by monthly is coming up on the US dollar. And 3 p.m. Nigerian time, of course, we have prelim UOM consumer sentiment. And this is the highlight of what we have for the week from the fundamental outlook. Then let's go straight to the weekly the technical outlook for the week, and let's see what opportunities we have. Starting from the Dixie. The DXY has proven to be a bearish momentum for the past few months, and this is the third month back to back, giving us the bearish momentum in the market. And for this, we are expecting the market to do reasonable, a little bit of sell to this price level. In fact, I'll be looking at this price level to take out this level completely. This will be the highlights. About 100 is expected to be taken out on DXY on monthly time frame. So basically, we could be looking at that from this perspective. And at the end of the day, what can we do with this information? Going to a lower time frame, let's see what we have here. On the lower time frame, we have the weekly analysis. On this weekly outlook, there was a time we were expecting the price of the market to come into this level on DXY so that we can have a buy momentum, at least for a reversal or a retracement. So which one would it be? Right now, the last week market moved into that price range. It filled it all. And after then, it pushed back into the bullish momentum, ended the candlestick for last week with a strong bearish candle with a very long lower wick, which was a rejection from that price zone. So what would this be? Would this be a buy or would this be a sell on the lower time frame? So let's see what opportunity we have in that regard. Looking at this formation, looks like a circle and almost completed, but what can we do with this outlook therefore? So this is a level we should look out for in the market. On the DXY daily time frame, we can see how the price of the market created previous day low right here, right? And when this was created, it broke through below it and came back and closed within that price level, which made us to understand that there was a gap after them. That was on Thursday. There was a gap right there, which was significant enough. And on Thursday, we have that market move straight into that level of the weekly fair value gap zone. And on Friday, the market actually pulled out from there. So most likely, what are we expecting? Are we expecting to see more buy on this, or we expecting to see more sell on this? Now let's go to a lower time frame to further see what insight we have on DXY for this coming week. So ideally, what we have here is quite simple. Looking at the market structure right here, the last 4 hours candlestick for the last trading days of last week, which was Friday, the market created an opportunity like this for us to see a fair value gap below the price level. And this is a bullish fair value gap whereby we can anticipate the price of this market to come to a price level like this and give us a buy momentum. So ideally, this is what I'll be expecting in the market, expecting to see more of this in this market. So basically, if the market turns out to change, I'm going to follow suit. And if the market actually move this way, I'm going to react as expected. As far as traders, we try not to forecast more than we react in the market, because the fundamentals has a high influence on the market in these coming days. So basically, on the tariffs that we've seen with the Donald Trump and different other countries, we've seen how that reactions has really pushed in the market. EURUSD did almost 1,000 pips for last week. Great Britain pounds JPY did more than 500 pips on Friday alone. And some of these currencies like that, they moved very, very, very heavy. So for this week, we need to look at the market from different perspectives that will not just put us on a path that we're going to focus on one direction of the market, but rather to react to whichever direction the market is showing us a momentum to go into. So that will guide our bias for the week. So basically, this is the outlook on DXY for this week. And look at this, a bit of sell, then into this level we have a buy. So this is the outlook. Now this will guide whatever we want to do on the lower, on the other currency pairs like GU, EU, and AU, for example. On daily time frame and weekly time frame right here on DXY, we really do not have much. So it won't be surprising if we do not have much on the other currency pairs that has to do with Euro US dollar. This was last week outlook on USD. Look at what we analyzed that we're going to buy, and actually market port made a lot more of sense. All right, from the monthly time frame on the Euro AUD, for the past 3 months, it has been on a bullish ride, and where we were expecting the market, I was expecting the market to still pull out till they get to this level. That I'm expecting the market to get to this price level before I will see a rejection or a reversal from there. Just expecting a reaction. But then the market has actually done a bit of buy for last month, and which was about, how many pips in total? Let me check that. Which was about, it did 547 pips and retraced out of it. Then we have a complete 407 pips, so about 400 pips on average for last month. And this month already, for the past few days, we've seen the market that's over 340 pips and retraced almost half of it, and currently the market is on 170 pips on average, what it has done for this month. So what are we expecting? This is still more of a bullish momentum, expecting the market to take out this high. But now let's go to lower time frame to further see meaning to what we are talking about here. On the weekly outlook, therefore, look at what we have here. On the weekly outlook, we've seen how the market has created. The previous week was a bullish momentum, and it went straight to a price level that we were expecting the market to put out from, which was a fair value gap zone here. And at the same time, we were looking for a demand level at this price zone, which was here. And what can you say the market did? The market went straight into those price levels. It smashed through them and it retraced, it rejected straight for that week. And what can we say about this? Will this be a continuation of sell and we have more buy momentum below the price level, or we are expecting more bullish momentum for this week to come? That is not really clear on the weekly time frame, but let's go to the daily time frame to further see what outlook we have. So looking at this from this perspective, you will see that this is also more of a circle, which seems to be completed right here. Right, within a price concept, this seems to be completed. This is almost inverse and shoulder, which looks like it's completed right here, because that is ultimate price level we're expecting to see reaction, and already we are seeing reaction. So basically, what are we expecting to see further is to know where we are buying for or where we are selling from. On this particularly, this last week candlestick, daily candlesticks for these 2 days, this was bearish ramming if we go by the candlestick formation pattern, which always suggests a sell momentum. And let's further see what that means on the lower time frame, and we are going to decide if we're going to buy or we're going to sell. So ideally, I would have waited for Monday to come before I decide on what to do with this outlook particularly. All right, so on 4 hour time frame for this, look at what the market is showing. It has shown a failure swing right here. The neckline was taken out completely, retested, and this is showing a bearish momentum, bearish signals with the higher lows, with the lower highs per se and the lower lows. So all of these candlesticks formation patterns right here has been showing us lower lows and lower highs. So what will this be? Will this mean that the market will continue to sell off for this week like this, or we should be expecting more bullish momentum right there? So for this, I'll be expecting a little bit of sell into this dimension. Then I'll be expecting sell at the end of the day on Euro US dollar 4 hour time frame. So basically, I'm waiting for this to happen in the market for this week. And let's go to the other time frame, which is the monthly time frame for the next currency pair on our list. This is Great Britain pounds US dollar, and let's see what that guy is doing. Actually, we're expecting Great Britain pounds US dollar to be a bullish momentum, at least to take out this high later on in the future, about 1.34240. And the price of the market actually went to a price level before it started retracing. On the monthly time frame, is not doing a justice to why the price moved out of this zone at that point in time. So what we'll do now is we're going to a lower time frame to see what really happened there. On the weekly time frame, therefore, on the Great Britain pounds US dollar, it ended as a strong bearish signal momentum right here. So what can we say about this zone? Okay, before now, we've seen this zone to be a level where we're expecting a sell from. Why? It was a liquidity zone right here, which is a fair value gap zone. And of course, we also have another block right there. So combining those two blocks together, it gives us a solid information about our POI. This is the first POI and the second POI, and most of the times depends on how the price level forms. We can work with the first POI. Right here, this was where we have this market creating a fair value gap for the bearish momentum. And of course, at the end of the day, for last week, the market swept into it, and from there, the market rejected. The market did about how many pips of rejection? Let's say it together. That's about 270 pips rejection. With this week of 270 pips rejection, what are we expecting for this week? After we had series of ranging zone right here, the market came back to that same zone. So what are we going to expect, or what are we expecting from this zone? Is it to see more sell opportunity or to see more buy opportunity? Let's further check that on the lower time frame to have more idea on what to do. On the lower time frame right here, we saw this formed as a bearish engulfing right here. The Thursday candlestick went into the range. The Friday did a massive sell into the market. So with that outlook, therefore, what are we really expecting? With that outlook, what are we expecting? This is a 254 pips sell momentum for last trading day of the week, which was Friday, which covered the Thursday, we cover for the Thursday, Wednesday, and the Tuesday, Monday momentum. So everything the market did for last week, it actually took it back. So we're back to this price zone. So what does this look like? Like, liquidity has been grabbed from this price level, and when liquidity is grabbed from a price level like this, even on a daily time frame, we had that zone there. So what are we expecting? We're expecting the market to give us more sell momentum, more sell signal. How will that happen? From this price level, expecting this to happen, right? Okay, this is not really too clear on the daily time frame as well, because we need the market to open for Monday. We need to see the daily close of the candlestick for Monday. Then we can decide on what to do next for this particular price level. But then let's see what we have on the 4-hour time frame. Let's see how that pans out, and that will determine a lot about what we're going to do in the market for this week on the lower time frame for intraday traders. All right, what we expected on the daily was a sell, right? Excuse me. And then looking at that, what do we have here? The candlesticks for the last trading day, the last 3-4 candlesticks close this way. So the 4 hours candlesticks, we have it here. We have another one. We have another one. So the last 3 candlesticks on 4-hour time frame for last week closed this way, and creating an imbalanced price level, which is the fair value gap for a bearish momentum. So what we're expecting now is for the market to open, and if the market manages to open and do a buy into this price level, then I will be expecting a sell from this market. As it is now, I'll be looking out for a sell. Basically, this is my outlook on Great Britain pounds US dollar for this week. All right, and let's see what we have on AUD US dollar from the monthly time frame. Let's see how that guy has been behaving. Let's see AUD US dollar. Let's see how it's behaving. AUD USD. Coming. So monthly time frame for AUD US dollar is right here. What we have here is very simple. On the monthly time frame, this has shown a bearish momentum, and we've seen this coming for some times now. If you follow this analysis through all the while, there was a point in time we were expecting this level to be taken out in the market, because this is also a liquidity zone in the market, which is a bearish momentum. I'm coming. This price zone here was a monthly time zone that we expected the price to tap into, then do more of a sell. So last month it did it, previous month it did it, and finally for this month on Friday, just Friday alone, the market swept through that low. We've been expecting this to happen for some times now. So basically, this was the outlook on the monthly time frame. But let's see what opportunity we have for this week on this particular time zone. All right, AUD US dollar has been a sell. Last week was a massive sell, which sold below the previous low that we had, which was significant as at February 2025, which was 27th of February, so to say. All right. So looking at this, 3rd of February, rather, 3rd of February. So this candlestick right here, the low was taken out by last week bearish candle momentum on AUD US dollar. So what are we expecting? Are we expecting more bullish momentum or bearish momentum on AUD USD? Go to the lower time frame, like daily time frame. Let's further see what we have in there. On the daily time frame, we need to be really cautious about this market because this created about 300 pips, I guess. Let's see together. This did about how many pips in total? About 347 pips last week, which was the last trading day of the week. That was Friday. So are we expecting more sell right here? Look at the entire movement. Look at this. So are we expecting more sell in this market for this week, or are we expecting to buy off? So let's further see that analysis. Let's see how that's worked out, and what we should do will be the next thing we should focus on. So exactly what the point is to go to a lower time frame, because ideally I'll be waiting for candlestick for Monday to form before I determine what to do with this currency pair. If the next day, which is the Monday candlestick, forms like this, then I will know I'm working with a fair value gap zone, which will also prompt me to do something like this, wait for the market to come into this price range like this before I continue to sell. But basically, from what we have here, we could not do anything because this was massive enough, and logically we'll be expecting the market to actually do a bit of retracement. But where that retracement gets to is where we don't know. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame and let's see the opportunity we have. On 4-hour time frame is be choppy for a long time right here. Choppy movement, and last trading day of the week we actually had a fantastic sell momentum, which created a lot of bearish momentum above the price level at a premium price zones, and there are so much right there. This is another one, right? And we have that all over the places. So this is another one right here. This is another one. So we have like 3 zones where we can expect the price of the market to come to in this week to give us a sell momentum. But I believe that this may be too much for the market to do, because this is about 90% or 80% retracement. So what I will be doing exactly is I can wait for the market to do a bit of buy into this range. When it shows me a bearish momentum, I continue to sell off from that price level. So this is what I would do on AUD US dollar as a currency pair. So let's go to the next currency pair of your choice. This is the USDJPY, which I remember we shared on last week as well. On our last week outlook, we shared this. And last week, we made over 500 pips from this market. Looking at the market from this level, we shared this in class. We analyzed that the market is coming back to this price level. If it does and give us a bearish signal momentum, we're dropping into this market for a sell. And that happened. If we extend this, you will see that happened over and over. So what I noticed is for this last week, most of the fair value gap zones we were expecting the market to come to, it was institutionally filled. Conventionally, it is filled up because we had those levels that most of the times we can be waiting for them to do about the threshold, and we can see 50% of those retracement into those zones. But last week it was institutionally referenced completely, and those zones were taken out completely in the market. So with that outlook, therefore, what are we expecting for this week on a US dollar JPY? So last week was good, fantastic, over 500 pips from this price level, and this was where we actually expected the market to get into. And you see, this also did what? It filled in completely. The level we're expecting also filled in completely. This is massive. So this is about 600 pips, by the way. All right. So going to the lower time frame, or to the higher time frame rather, let's see what opportunity we have. This has been a bearish momentum, and based on what we're looking at is on higher highs and higher lows trend. When you would look at this carefully, right, it is based on higher highs and higher low trends if you look at this carefully. But currently it's at a price level we can refer to as a discount price mode, right? And when the price is on this level, we are only expecting to see more momentum, to do more of bullish momentum right there. So let's go into the details of this. Let's see how it works out, and let's go to a lower time frame and see if we have opportunity to keep buying from where the market is right now. On the lower time frame, which is the weekly, right here, look at what we have. So why should we be buying from here? So let me take this out. Why should we be buying from this price level? The question is very simple. It's because we've seen the market reacting to those zones over the time. So the last week candle created a massive bearish momentum, and with that, it had been close towards this price level, below this price level of this week, we would have interpreted this in a different way entirely. But of course, this is not a bad idea, because we've seen the market creating this, and we've seen the market doing what we are expecting to see. So what are we expecting to see? This level was taken out completely in the market, a bit of bearish momentum. This level was filled between this guy and this guy here. They were filled already. So we understand what the market did here. Now, the last bearish momentum candle for last week is the only thing we want to understand, which we propelled us to do a particular thing in this week, either to buy or to sell. With this rejection, does that mean we should keep buying right here, or we should keep selling? So what are we seeing in the market? Going to the lower time frame to further see that. We need the clarity. Of course, we need the clarity. Right here, what we have is a bearish momentum, because we have a bearish liquidity above the current price level, which is residing right here as a fair value gap, or as an imbalanced zone, which is a fair value gap for a bearish momentum. So if you look at this carefully, you're going to see that there is high tendency for the market to do a bit of buy into this range before we have more sell from that price level, and that's about 148.278 in the market. So looking at this from this perspective, it is very possible for the market to do something like this, a bit of buy into this range, then more bearish momentum again, till the market comes into a price range like this. So I'll be expecting this low to be taken out in the market before we see further reaction at this price level. So basically, this is the outlook for USDJPY for this week. And let's go to the 4-hour time frame, which will make more sense. Okay, at the 4-hour time frame, let's see what we have there. 4-hour time frame is here. So looking at the 4-hour time frame, the market has pulled back for a rejection, doing more of buy and buy and buy. But then let's look at where we have the opportunity to see a more reasonable buy zone. Right here is where we have liquidity. So looking at that, this would be the price level where we should be looking at if we are intraday trader. So which means about this price level 148.63, it's good for us to look at the market for this momentum for a buy side or for a sell side. So we can be waiting for the market to buy into this level before we see a sell momentum. So this is how I'm looking at this market for this week. And let's go to the gold, which is the last guy we're looking at for today, and let's see what the market will do for this week. So basically, the market actually created series of movement last week, and gold was not exempted from those movements, and it was actually a nice one to see. So this month so far, we've seen the market creating a bearish energy, and the last month that we had was a complete buy momentum in the market, a complete candle, more or less like a bullish marubozu. But of course, that wouldn't have propelled it to buy, because it's not even at an area of value that you can consider as a discount price mode, right? So on this monthly time frame, we've seen the market created a bearish momentum for this month, and let's see how far can this go, or will this be another level of retracement before the all-time high is hit again on gold. So therefore, on the weekly time frame analysis, we've seen a bearish momentum and rejection from the all-time high price of 3,165.15, and markets move back to a price level like this. So what does that mean? Do we have a buy momentum below those price levels? Yes, we do. We have a price level right here, something like this. We have it. And do we expect the market to do a bit of retracement from where it is currently to those price level, which will be about 830 pips on average? Well, we don't know that, but I believe the market will do more when we go to a lower time frame, because we can see more on there. So the bigger pictures, on the higher time frame, but the main thing we want to do to know exactly what we're doing is we can confirm that from a lower time frame. All right, we've seen the bigger picture. It's been a buy bullish momentum for a long time. This month has been bearish. On the weekly time frame, it has showed a significant bearish rejection. On the daily time frame, of course, too, you've seen how it has wiped through the previous daily high and closed below it, which signaled another level of sell. And with that level now, we've seen how the market has created a strong bearish momentum on the last trading day for last week, which was Friday. Now, the next thing is, will this sell continue, or this is just another level we should be looking out for in the market? So ideally, this is a balanced price range, if you ask me, until tomorrow market opens. And when it does, if it opens and form a bearish momentum, which means if tomorrow opens this way, and it closed this way, then we can be looking at the market that, okay, we have a level above it, which will be around this price range before we have more sell, because this will now be a fair value gap if you look at that very carefully. But then tomorrow has not opened yet, and let's wait for Monday to open. When the Monday candlestick open on the daily, we'll have more insight on what to do with this price range. But basically, what we have here is to go to a 4-hour time frame. I think that's what we can do instead. On the 4-hour time frame right here, we've seen the last 3 trading candlesticks on 4-hour time frame, how they created a significant price range where we can see a sell opportunity from. This is one of them, and the second one is also just beneath it, and this is also one of them. So when you look at this, it's either we look for the market to come into this price range before it continue to sell a little bit of it to create a lower price level below this range, so expecting the price to take out this low right here, or we waiting for the market to do something like this from where it is currently into this price range to create a low. All right, still expecting it to break below this price range, because as it is now currently, what we can see is the market has series of ranges before it moves up here, and the same thing right there. So if we're expecting anything at all, we expect the market to take out this low. If it takes out this low successfully, we can expect more bearish momentum. Otherwise, if that is not happening, then we will be retaining our bullish momentum. But I believe fundamental is going to drive a lot of these decisions in this market for this week, and we are going to focus more on the fundamental so that can guide our technical outlook. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we'll be stopping for this week, or for today. And in the course of the week, I'm going to be updating. If there's any change in momentum in my bias, I'm going to update, I'm going to post. Like, share this video, and comment any currency pair of your choice so we can look at that. In the next coming days, we will be having live, and you can always join to ask questions, and also we can look at your favorite pairs of your choice. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. It's been an amazing time through proper risk management, and do have a wonderful trading week ahead of you. Bye for now.